Welcome, guys. Today I want to talk a bit about our OEM line, but this time I'll talk about XVRs. Everything I'm going to mention will be pretty similar to the last lesson about the NVRs. I'll go through some of the settings, show how to use the mobile app, show how to locate the devices, and what kind of devices we have in the OEM line, and so on. So if there are any questions, feel free to ask me, but I'm pretty sure this will be clear to everyone. So our OEM line, we have different devices. We have network devices, and we have analog devices, and you can locate them on our website by going to CCTV, and then going to analog recorders and separating or filtering them by brand, by OEM. And here you can find different recorders, different number of channels, and different quality of recordings. The one I have here is very simple. It supports 4 cameras, and it has basic functionalities like I don't know, 1080p resolution and so on. But one thing that's important to notice on this one, the recording resolution is 1080n. So, and then the price reflects that. So it's important to keep this in mind. Supports one hard drive of 6 terabytes, and if you want to check the cameras with the app or configure them, you would use Evo Plus for mobile phones, and Smart PSS, the original, the Hua Smart PSS for the PC clients or Mac, depends what you have. Okay, so this is how they look. So this is the XVR, and this is an example of one of the cameras. I'll also show you which camera I have here. Camera is this one. So HDC 1T2M 2.8. So it's a pretty standard looking camera with those little 2 eyes in the front. And as you can see, this camera is 2 megapixel, 2.8 millimeter lens, and I don't know, all the basic stuff. So nothing special with it. Smart IR of 50 meters. You can check the specification sheet here if there's need. Okay, so first thing I want to do is I want to connect to the recorder, and to do that I'm going to use a general config tool. So not the Hua one, but the general one, which I can supply if anyone needs. So let me find it here. There we go. Okay, so it's going to look the same as the Hua one. It's going to list your recorder here on the list, give you the IP address, give you the version of the firmware on it. So what I want to do here is since I was testing it before, I just want to reset it to default settings. So I'm going to do that by choosing this column here, the third one in the row. I'm going to go to restore and click on factory default. It's going to ask me, are you sure you want to factory default? I'm going to say okay. Okay, it gives me an error because my password is not correct. So I'm going to go in search settings here and adjust my password of my recorder. Press OK. And now I should be able to factory default the device. Okay. Okay, let's see. Did it do the trick, or we'll have to? Oh, there we go. Okay. Okay, so the default values should be applied, and when that is done, we should get our XVR on the list. So as soon as it pops up on the list, we'll know that default values are on it. Okay, I should have done this before, but doesn't matter. At least you can, if you can see that it's easily defaulted by using config tool as well. You don't have to do it on the recorder. Okay, so now it's rebooted and it's saying uninitialized. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to choose it off the list and click this button in the lower left side, initialize. So when I click on this window will pop up, say that this device is not initialized. What I do is I choose it off the list if it's not chosen already, and I click on initialize. This next window will pop up. You just have to choose your password. So I'm going to put default admin1234. Email address if you want to reset your password later on, and click next. This is the next window it gives me. I'll leave easy for IP on, and I'll disable auto check for updates. I'm going to press OK, and it's going to say one device has been activated, and my device is now ready. And another thing I always like to do is I like to put it inside my range here. So I'm going to click on modify IP, and I'm going to put it to DHCP. So for my testing uses, this is the most simple way how I can access the recorder. Click on DHCP, click on OK, and he should receive my IP range. Now, once that is done, okay, there we go. Well, I can simply click on this icon of Internet Explorer here, and I'm going to be transferred to web login. So I'm going to click on that, and another window will pop up, and it's going to load up, and I'll be able to log into my recorder, hopefully. Okay, do we need to refresh the page maybe? Okay, what is this now? Let's do it again. Looks like there's an issue with the plugins. Try it again. Oh, there we go. Okay, just had to refresh the whole thing. Okay, so right now, as you can see, it's showing Spanish, but this is easily changeable. So I'm still able to log in, even though in Spanish. I'll allow the plugins, so I don't have any issues with the live view later on. And I want to change my language first. So I'm going to go click on the options here, go to System, and here, Idioma, I'm going to change it to English. And I'm going to save the change. Okay, it's going to log me out. And I can log back in with everything being in English. Okay, so we got some, well, anyone who's familiar with the HUA, they'll know their way around, but I'll still show everything. So we got a couple of sections here, and we also got additional sections here in the management. So live view is going to be, of course, for your live viewing the cameras. You can check the cameras. In case you have PTZ cameras, you can control them with the options here. You can open the PTZ menus here as well. The usual stuff, right? Okay, so that's live view. The second one is video, where you can check your recording of all the previous events that happened. So classic stuff. You got the alarm settings, where you can see what was happening with the inputs or outputs, or video detection that happened over the time, video loss, tampering. And you also got the abnormality where you can remove the buzzers. If you don't have a hard drive in your recorder, you can remove the buzzer so it's not annoying you. You can do the same thing for network and for users. Okay, so that's classic stuff. You also got the backup where you can export your recordings. We got the display where you can change the resolution of your monitor, of the image that's going to be displayed on the monitor. So I'm going to put it to 1080p. Some adjustments for 0 channel here and for 2. Okay, audio, well, I'm not going to go into this right now. And then we got a section where you can add cameras or edit them. So if I go to camera, I'm able to change the image settings of my camera. You can choose which channel, you can choose the quality of the camera. So as I said before, this recorder supports a recording resolution of 1080n. So if you want more than that, I guess some other type of the recorder would do. Some one that's a bit more advanced. Okay, we got the PTZ functions here, where you can change baud rate and so on, whatever you have to do, basically. Change the control mode. And you got the channel types where you can change which channel will be on which format. Okay, then we got the network stuff. So I'm going to be putting this recorder to work with P2P. So I'll go to P2P here and then enable. Actually, it's already enabled, even better. Okay, so you can add the recorder to your app by scanning this QR code or manually putting in this serial number into your app. Okay, but aside from that, you got all the standard stuff where you can check your ports, where you can choose the dynamic DNS option if you want. You got the email stuff for the alerts, where you can enable your monitoring station information. Okay, so that's network. Then you got some storage stuff where you can set up how the hard drive works, or you can default. You can delete all the material of the hard drive. You got the system options, so where you would update the firmware, where you would change dates and times, reboot the recorder, set the recorder to reboot every, I don't know, every Sunday at specific time. You can import, export files, configuration files, and you can, of course, default it and upgrade it. And you can check which firmware version you have right now. Okay, so that's as any other recorder. You got the normal general settings, you got the camera settings, network settings, so nothing special there. So if anyone has a question regarding this, you can ask me anytime. One last thing I want to show you is so which app you would use, and if you're not familiar with it already, how to add it to your mobile app, and you can then check the cameras and so on. So what I would do here is I'm just going to connect my mobile screen so you can see it. Okay, so here we have my mobile. Okay, mirror. Okay, so the app that you would use for this would be Evo Plus. So I'll go to Evo Plus, and I want to add a new device. I can just shortly press this X, plus in the upper right corner, and I'm going to choose, because my device is wired, so I'm going to click on wire device. I got it connected with the P2P, so I'm going to click on P2P. And the next thing I'm going to do is I'm going to click on so I don't have to manually enter my serial number. I'll just go to network settings of my recorder. I'll go to P2P, and I'll use this QR code with my mobile phone. So I'll just click on this, and I'll scan my QR code, and it's going to automatically add my code here. Now that is done, it already knows the username admin, and I'm going to get my password in, which is admin1234. Yeah, of course, you got to add the name for the recorder, so I'm going to say XVR and start live preview. And if everything is correct, if your recorder is online, you should get the cameras. So you can check them here, and you can do as you would do with any other recorder. You can check the playback, you can get the live view, you can get the push notifications for specific events, and so on and so on and so on. Okay, as I said, nothing very unusual with this recorder. All the usual stuff, all the usual settings, parameters. So yeah, that's pretty much it. If anyone has any questions, they can ask me. Thank you for attending. I'll see you next time.